Well, hey there, this is Chase, and in this video, some of you have been interested in stock photography. I've done this for a number of years, and I got the question on one of my comments of one of my videos, what subjects should or best to shoot, or what types of things should be photographed, how do you make the quickest money, those types of things. And in particular, I can go through and give you some ideas. And I thought I'd do a little show and tell. So I'd show you some images on iStockPhoto and talk about why they're good and the types of images that you could look at doing. So give me a second here while I share my screen. And right now you should see iStockPhoto, and I'll go through this and give you some ideas. Now, there's no guarantee in anything, but there's certainly some strong images and different types of images that are definitely going to be looked for and searched on and bought for a long time. And so you just got to keep plugging at it. I've been doing this for over 30 years. And I love photography, so I'll never stop, okay? So one of the things I'll mention is when you can photograph things that other people haven't, that's clearly obvious that you have a unique image. And if it's marketable, most likely it can be, then you will have an advantage. Okay, now these different categories in here I've been looking at, and they're wonderful because they kind of highlight the best of the best. And so if you can model yourself, not copy, but model the types of photographs that are done here, or do it better, is my frame of mind. I would rather do something better. But so let's get into this. And I'm going to go into medical right now because most people would never choose medical. It's just not typical. But there are images within here that can be done rather easily. And so I just want to talk about that. Now, this one right here, let me see if I can click on that. And it should go, yeah, it gives me a little more information here. And I'll even click on it to make it full screen so you can see. So what this is going to be used for is a background for insurance or healthcare and just tons of different things. Now, it could be a little too blurry. Who knows? And maybe it's a good seller. I don't know. And why did they highlight that? Well, it's because it's a potentially good seller. Somebody in iStockPhoto, they know that this type of image would be good. Now, it's not a guarantee, and it's got some off color. It's a different look. So maybe someone's playing with Photoshop and the light balance of the image, okay? And then they're obviously blurring it out. But it just like the little iStock logos, it's going to be, the image is going to be a background for the verbiage or the text or the image or the logo or the product that's going to be put in front of this image. So backgrounds are a big deal. So let's just go back. And let me go down, and what I'll do is right click next time so we don't have to go back and forth. Anytime you can shoot an image that you have control of, maybe you have a good model and you have a situation that looks like an office, or you can, you have a couple things like a stethoscope and all, you can do these types of things even in your home, just making sure that it looks like a hospital or a medical office or something like that. So, and then this one right here, I don't want to do that. I got to change it here. Hang on. Let's just do in a new, not window. I keep doing that. In a new tab. And then I can blow this up again. This type of image can be shot in a studio, in your home, at a hospital or something like that. But key elements of a stethoscope. The stethoscope is very iconic for, say, medical field. We've got an iPad here, and we got a nice clean doctor's smock or whatever this is. We got a little out of focus. Looks like a little heart or something like that. So there's a brochure on the wall, something like. But it could be really clean and without that. But that just adds to it, and it's all out of focus. This type of image is really a good thing. So you don't even have to be in a hospital. You don't have to, know somebody. You can just borrow or find a nice clean stethoscope, a nice white smock, and then somebody who wants to be a model, hopefully have clean hands and clean fingers, things like that. That's important. And then you can get some really great stock images. Now, most people won't go to the trouble of that. Now, this one over here, a little bit harder. I did it wrong again. I need to do it in a new tab. This one a little harder because there's definitely an environment in here of, all the vials and the test tubes and stuff like that. But if you could pull this, now this could be done, maybe not, but it could be done in a kind of in a studio setting. And I'm not sure if this is the greatest, but the guy has gloves on. They're looking at an iPad. They looks like they're studying something or testing something. And so it's a good image and lots of out of focus background. That's really nice. Notice how the iStock logo really sets, it looks good. That's because, in a large sense, the out of focus background. So you want to shoot with wide open apertures so that you get a nice blurry background. Even this shot here, this woman, the nurse, and then the medical professionals in the background. If you could get some other, smocks or whatever these are, and here's your stethoscope. This can be done outside even. It's got some nice light, but it's controlled light, and it could be in a studio situation as well, but it could be done outside. This could all be white in the background too, by the way, and you have 4 or 5 people that are friends that would be model releasing. You would have model releases on each one of these people, and especially your main person here. And what you could do is just rotate people. She could move forward and she could go back. And you get about, well, you have 6 people here. You could get 6 different looks. You could bring the doctor forward and the nurse and then other people in the background. There's about 50 shots just from this one shot. And you would have model releases on all of them. You'd have a variety, and that type of thing would do quite well. The still lifes are great. They're really done a lot, but if you do a good job, you can do well. Now, this could be printed out. You could print out a little thing, and then some of this stuff will be out of focus, and then it says prescription, just so someone knows that it's relative to a prescription. And you could, I think maybe the stethoscope might be right in the middle too much, and you could put it, experiment with it being on the side. Looks like that kink is a little too much too. I don't know. That's being really picky, I guess. But if you had a main image, let's say you open up, the smock is moved to the side, and you have more of a wide image right in here, so they could drop in a product or have some text or something like that. This could be blurred out a little, and it could just be a background. And you want to have some degree of focus somewhere in here. You can't just, well, you can submit blurry images, but there probably needs to be one area of sharpness, okay? So here's an idea where you get a smock, you have that stethoscope, you print out a little design, or you have somebody help you with that, or you do something different, or that RX is very standard. It's a really good thing to do. And you do a bunch of still lives. And this is it's very soft lighting. You can see down here they're using diffusion flats and things to soften the light. But you could try a hard light and different things on the sides or something like that. So if you're a still life photographer, you could do a lot of different things there. Let me go down here a little further. This is more what I was talking about. Doing the doctor or the nurse and photographing it in a studio. Various different elements. You could put something in the background, or something hanging up. This is really clean, and this would sell. I would feel very confident if you have something. You don't want to copy this. You can improve it. Maybe a different colored background. Maybe he's holding or he's using gestures of his hands, like maybe he's, as if he was saying, "Oh, this is what you need to do," or "This is my recommendation." He could use some hand gestures, and then you have something to go here. Or you could be given an okay or a thumbs up. That's an interesting thought as well. So you have potentially a bunch of ideas. And what is your only prop? A stethoscope, a white smock, and a guy dressed up. And you could just keep working on this idea. The lighting is quite nice. It's got diffused light with fill in here. So it's not a hard flash set up on a camera. It's diffused light, you can tell. Soft shadows. See the shadows on the sleeve? Very soft. That's from a diffused light source, or an umbrella, if you will, or some type of diffusion material that's softened the light. So it's very soft. No harsh shadows and stuff like that. You could do very well with still life, with a studio shot like that. This type of shot, it'll be a little harder because it definitely looks like it's in a hospital. Maybe you can arrange a time, at an urgent care center, and maybe you have 2 or 3 people in the background that can act as your models, and maybe you can set up a shoot. This doesn't even look like a hospital, actually. There's some columns, so maybe you do some investigation around town. You find a part of the mall or something like that that has these. And you could just have 3 or 4 people if you wanted, and then they could rotate in and out. So each one is the primary subject. And then we got background people, and you got these columns. You could experiment. So look for a background. I would imagine like in a mall situation or something like that, where you can be, and not that you have to rent it or anything like that, but you can be in this area, or maybe a business complex, or a bank or something like that. Big columns, wide open spaces. It looks like a hospital. And then with controlled focus, you could blur out the background. And so it doesn't have to be precise. You have nice lighting here. You might have to bring in a nice soft light, with a diffusion flat, so that it's soft lighting. And then maybe you get in trouble, I don't know. But no, you shouldn't get in trouble. You want to find a place where you can photograph and make it look like a hospital. She has something in her little pocket there. I'm not sure what it, but here she just has a clipboard and a nice smock, nice smile. She looks good. The guy in the background with a notepad. This is not that difficult, but are most people going to do that? No, they're not. They're going to want to shoot, nature and wildlife, which everybody does. Okay, here's another idea, and very similar. It's got the stethoscope because that is so cliche. Now you could do one better. Maybe there's a thermometer that you could be holding, but this is pretty classic for medical and doctors. So you probably want to have it, but you could also try, maybe the notepad or the clipboard or something like that. This is actually quite nice. Notice she's got very clean hands, very nice fingernails, all that. So you don't want anybody that looks, like they've been digging ditches and stuff like that. Nice. Look at this background. This could be anywhere. This could be in a studio. This could be anywhere, and you have nice controlled lighting, but it's very white. So there's lots of room for text and or products to be dropped in, because they want to use these for advertising. So they're going to drop in a product and then drop in some text. You want to make sure. In fact, I might even slide the person over a little bit, give it a little more maybe, or just shoot 5 or 6 different versions, and do a vertical as well, with room off to the left for negative space for advertising. Okay. All right. Now this is awesome. Here's what I was really saying just a second ago, is giving this a lot of room. So we've got the clipboard, a stethoscope, nice blue smock, and a white thing. Even if you had to buy these, I don't know what the stethoscope would be. It might be a little expensive, but you know, a nice clipboard, a stethoscope, 1, 2, 3 spot, you know, smocks or whatever these are, and boom, you find a good location. This is a gold mine. You could just rotate people in and shoot them and get some expressions maybe, or different hand gestures. Shoot 50 images of this one location. It's really blurred out. You can see how dropping in iStock could be or would be where they drop in the product. This is a long skinny one, so it's going to be potentially the top of a website or top of a annual report, things like that. They use these images for those types of things. So as I was mentioning, sliding that person over, leaving a lot of space for negative space for advertising is really good. Okay. Working on the computer. This one just doesn't, it looks too staged, right? It looks, I don't know. That's just my feeling. Let's look at it here a little bit. A little too they're a little too stiff. Okay. And they're just standing there. I like to see her smiling, and then go about your daily, your work activities. Have these people, and maybe they can be smiling, but I'd like to see him holding a clipboard or a stethoscope, and maybe these two guys are talking, and then she is smiling because she's, whatever the product or service or the text or the image, she's important in that respect. Okay, so these could be friends of yours, and you rotate different people in because they're going to want long hair, short hair, woman, man, those types of things. So you shoot, when you find a good location, you shoot as much as you can. Okay, now things like this are always pretty good too. I would like to see you control the situation, so you have controlled lighting. All of these have controlled lighting. Nice hands, clean, good fingernails, and if your model doesn't, turn the hand or whatever so you don't see all that. Okay, this medical stuff is huge income. It just makes a big difference. So I'm really spending a lot of time here. Here's a compassion shot where you have someone that's obviously very empathetic, and that's a very important image during those times. And so consider things like that. And yeah, you can tell what's going on here without seeing faces. I would love to see a little more negative space, but you never know. Sometimes they really want to zero in on that. So I can't say. This is pretty darn good. So what do you have here? You have a model that could be dressed as any way. She's older, it looks like. Then you have a nurse in a smock and pants. What's your investment? You got smock and pants. And maybe you have 2 or 3 of those. I don't know. But this smock and pants can go a long ways in your medical shooting. Now, you may love nature and wildlife. I actually do. But you need to shoot things that sell. Okay. This is a really cool shot. Let's open that in a new tab. And let's take a look here. Okay, so limited depth of field. You have to think of the lighting. So you can tell that the lighting, let me zoom in on there. I mean, the focus on the eye is great. Again, what do you have? You have a little head thing and the things over the mouths. And they're obviously, kind of like an operation. Lots of negative space here. I would love to see a little bit more, but it's not bad. Good focus on the eye. And notice there, you can tell the light source. See the shadow? It's coming up here. So the light source is down in the corner, like an operating table would be or something like that. The light is on the patient. And this is the doctor. And so this is a wonderful point of view. So if you get the smock, you might as well see if you can get the head thing, or go to your urgent care and say, hey, for $20, what could you give me? Could you give me a few of these things? Be nice. Just say, hey, I'm trying to shoot some great stock images or images for the medical profession. I'm doing a report for school. They'll work with you. They'll say, yeah, you know what? We have a few of these we can give you. Maybe you give them $10. I don't know. I don't know that they'll give you the smock, but maybe the little mask would be a possibility. Okay. Details of on the computer, that's been done a lot. Now this one I like quite a bit. You have a friend who's willing to be a model, and you have a stethoscope, and it's so blurry and all sorts of cool things going on, but obviously there's a medical issue here with this little boy, and there's negative space, so text or an image or a logo could be popped in here real easily. This, now we're talking just a stethoscope and some creative focus and some interesting light coming in. This is a nice image. So what we're seeing at the beginning of all these little categories is some really good stuff that you should be striving for. And I'm just covering a few of the ones that are kind of hitting me as now. This will be harder because you're going to be in a hospital room, but maybe you can work out a time in an urgent care where they're, on a Sunday morning and there's not so much activity, or who knows, you might be able to slip in. You put a light off to the right side. You can tell that the light is right here, coming in, bounce it up into the corner so it fills in nicely. And then, she has a little iPad there or something like that, and you have two models. There you got the white smock and the stethoscope, and then he's got in his little patient gown. I don't know. There are things like that you could work on. Be careful of too many logos on the bed. And I think they knock some of that off because something is in the way right there, which is good. It's a nice image. It could be harder, but the harder the image, the better it can be down the road, because you are you're doing the best you can, and you're doing stuff that is not normal, that normal people don't shoot. Now this, again, this is a toss-up. It's a good image. I like the background. Could be a little bit out of focus, but give it a shot. Maybe you have a few more people lined up where you can see the sense of people. People are what sell, and you need to have people in your shots for sure. So if I could see a little bit clearer people, that might be a little bit better. So these are just some ideas. When I go to photos in iStock, each one of these categories, so pick the category. I picked medical because most people would avoid that like the plague. So don't avoid it like the plague. Look at these categories. When you go into a new category, study the image. These are the best of the best. They're going to put the best images first. Okay. When you see when you see this, it's pretty darn good. It looks lifelike. The lighting's good. It's just well done. Or there's a lot of people, and each one, maybe these are all model released. Think about that. Even though the people faces aren't there, if you had model releases on all these, that's huge. Okay, very nicely done. Awesome stuff. Food is a challenge, but there you go. You got all the time in the world to fix that up and work on food shots. And maybe you have that stylistic thing of just putting together a nice still life, and make sure it's extremely clean and nicely done. These type of shots are really good. So if you got somebody that can be a model, it just adds so much more to the shot. But all the images in these first sets are winners. These are the best of the best. So you need to be able to do similar things or better. Okay, now isn't this awesome? Let's take a look at that. Now think of other symbols, maybe just a circle, but the heart definitely says a lot, doesn't it? That's a wonderful, wonderful shot. And you could do something similar, but how would you improve it? That's the thing. Okay, this one sells a lot. I'm sure of it. Just sure of it. It's just screaming beautiful. Yet there's room for the image or the logo and the text for the ad, and they'll know that there's a heart there. They're not going to cover that up. Okay, so as you go through these categories, just look through them and say, what can I do that can be better? And even if you love shooting nature and wildlife, look at the nature and wildlife here. It's pretty exceptional stuff. Okay, and we got some light, awesome light, and then they really controlled the focus and the background and all, and awesome stuff. Hummingbird, not easy to get, totally, by itself, nice background. I think you could even, let's just open this one up. I think you could even improve on the background. To me, that looks a little, it's such a colorful bird. That's actually not too bad, is it? It is a colorful background, and it's just razor sharp, and that's awesome. So when you want to do nature and wildlife, do it exceptional. When you have something like this, that's exceptional, okay? So hope this helped. I'll probably do some more ideas, like what types of stuff to shoot. This is just awesome right here. It'll take you time to, I'm sorry, I'm just going on and on. It'll take you some time to pull this one off, but start planning things, okay? And, you could hide some of this stuff. It could be you could do this all maybe with 1 or 2 plants. This little guy, maybe, well, that's hard to pull out. It looks like there's 5 different plants here. And you start your plants in 1 week, and then 2 weeks, or this is 1 week old, this is 2 weeks old, 3. And then you go out in the garden and you dig up some soil and you kind of plant them and make it. That's exceptional, cool stuff. It shows growth, and it's nature, and it's done really well. So when's the last time you saw a nature photographer do this? Well, that's what I'm pointing out. This is really good stuff, okay? Anything else that I see? Obviously, the timing of that background. And let me just show this. You don't even have to have a cliff, okay? What you do, if you're really good with Photoshop, is get a guy in a trampoline or a little jump, and he's just jumping, 4 or 5 feet up and doing all sorts of shots. And then in another shot, you find this cliff, okay, and then you go out and shoot a sunset. So this image could be one shot here, and you have 50 different elements of the background. In fact, this is such a good idea. I'm going to start doing this. Shoot, and he could be against a white overcast sky, so that in Photoshop, it just comes out really clean. So you shoot a bunch of those. Then you shoot, a cliff or whatever you want. It could even be a building, okay? And he's jumping across to another building. And then you got a third shot of a sunset. It could be in the city. There's a lot of potential right here, okay? So let's see where that, yep. So that type of thing is really awesome. So look at this nature, very high detail close-up. Do you see the quality on this? It's like, yeah, this is nature and wildlife, but man, is this a view that you've never seen before? Absolutely. Underwater with fish at the bottom. So when you want to make a lot of money, okay, you got to create a great image. I've never seen anything like this. This is stunning. This will sell. And it's so unique, so creative. Lots of negative space. You can drop in a big logo or a big product and a bunch of text for surrounding the ad. They're going to buy your ad. And model release a person. It could be your friend, and make sure they sign the model release, because then there's no question it's released. Don't just shoot it and then have iStockPhoto and say, hey, we're getting a lot of high-end commercial clients and they want a model release, and you're like, I don't have one. Don't do that to yourself. Get a model release even when the person is out of focus, okay? So there you go, some really cool stuff. And each time you log in to iStockPhoto, check out the first group of images. They're exceptional. They're very good. So doesn't mean you can't do better, because you can. So once you do that, then you'll be on the road to getting great images on iStock, and you do what I loved about iStock or stock photography in general, and what got me years ago to start shooting stock was I realized I could get a good photograph and it would sell over and over and over and over and over and over again. So I did shoot nature and wildlife, and I had some very conceptual images, and they sell over and over. But what I've shown you here, all these images will sell over and over, and for years. So spend the time to really study. There's some great ideas, and I know I spent time on medical, but we even touched on some wildlife and nature and food and shooting people and getting model releases. So I've had a lot of experience with stock photography. I've done well, but iStockPhoto is a really great company, a great website. I'm exclusive with them, and I think if you spend some time, you'll do well here. But you gotta think outside the box. You gotta do a really good shoot to really make some good money. So, hope this encouraged you. Let me just stop sharing here. And if you have further comments or questions or ideas, and I'll be doing some other videos as well. I think this is a great topic of what to shoot and looking at the competition objectively. So hope you're having a great day. We'll talk again soon. Bye for now.